Republicans are reportedly setting the stage for what could be their last stand against their party's presumptive presidential nominee. The Washington Post reporting that dozens of GOP delegates are now working on a plan to block Donald Trump at this summer's party meetings just before the convention in Cleveland. The Post calls it the most organized effort so far to stop Trump from heading into November as the party's nominee. One delegate from Utah telling the newspaper, quote, "This literally is an anybody but Trump movement." Washington Post politics reporter Ed O'Keefe joins us now. He broke the story. And Ed, thanks for being with us. So who are these guys, the delegates, and what are they angry about? Because you say they're angry at Trump.
Sure. Well, it's important to point out these are actual delegates who've been elected to go to Cleveland and sit in the audience and make the decisions of the Republican Party. People like Kendall Unruh in Colorado, people like a guy named Cecil in Iowa, another guy named Eric in Washington State. They have all found each other over the last few weeks, all concerned that the current presumptive nominee is perhaps a bit insufficiently conservative, and they're looking for somebody else. They don't have anyone specifically in mind, but they believe that the Republican delegates should be able to vote their conscience instead of voting for the results of the caucus and primary held in their state.
They're angry at Trump about his comments on gun control, the racial attacks on the federal judge, his sinking poll numbers they're aggrieved about. But look, in order to unbind the delegates, as you point out, it would take a majority of the Rules Committee, and then you got to have a majority of all of the delegates at the convention to approve it. I mean, come on, what's the likelihood of that actually happening?
Well, we'll see, and we won't really know until July 14th and 15th when the Convention Rules Committee meets at the Convention Center in Cleveland before the gavel goes down the following Monday and the entire body gets to decide. All they will need in the Rules Committee is 56 Republicans, the 56th half of the Rules Committee, they're all across the country, and then they would have to take it to the bigger group. What makes this group different, though, Greg, and this is why I'm sure there are viewers rolling their eyes and thinking, here we go again. What's different is that this one is organized by the people who will be the only ones that can actually do something and who will be the only ones that formally nominate whoever the party's pick is. This is not being driven by guys like Eric Erickson or Bill Kristol or Hugh Hewitt and others who've been pining for weeks. Gosh, we've got to do something. These are the people who can actually do something. They have found each other, and they're trying to see if there's enough support to do it.
And Trump dismisses this, saying there's no mechanism for this. Well, he's wrong. There is a mechanism. It's called the Rules Committee, right?
Yep, so exactly. Not only is, well, yeah, because if there's enough support, the delegates could put forth an alternative plan and they could do it. Remember also, there's some different interpretations about what exactly the rules of the convention are. There are those, like the chairman, Reince Priebus, and Mr. Trump, who believe that delegates are bound to the results of the caucus or primary that was held in their state. But there has been a longer brewing theory that, in fact, delegates aren't bound at all, and they can do whatever they want. They can vote their conscience. And given what he has been doing and saying in recent weeks, many delegates now believe they've got to do something to stop him from becoming the nominee.
Well, and the wild card, of course, is Speaker Paul Ryan, who will be the chair at the convention. And what's important about him is last Friday, he said House Republicans, quote, should follow their conscience on whether to support Trump. I mean, Ed, that could really help this group of delegates who want to dump Trump, right?
It could. He's speaking specifically in this interview with Meet the Press that's airing on Sunday about House Republican lawmakers, not about Republicans overall. But his comments, and especially the use of the word conscience, will be seen as helpful to those that are trying to do something, since they are, after all, trying to pass a conscience clause.
Yeah, and of course some of those House lawmakers are actually delegates as well, so...
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Well, great story. Ed O'Keefe, politics reporter of the Washington Post. Thanks for being with us and sharing it.
Take care, Greg.